Is it necessary to bond with your bonus children? Is it necessary to communicate, to connect with them? And if you want to communicate, if you want to connect with them, how should you start? What do you say? What time should you introduce yourself or try to create this connection or communication or bond? Who do you go through when you want to connect with your bonus children? Okay, for those who do not know what bonus children are or who bonus children are, bonus children are stepchildren. I don't call them stepchildren. I don't like calling them stepchildren, but I will tell you why in this video. And I will also tell you my polygyny mistake when it came to my bonus children and give you some best practices on connecting with yours. Stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Nyla, Coach Nyla, one of the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships. And yes, connecting with your bonus children. Sometimes it's a touchy subject. And it's a touchy subject because when it comes to polygyny, especially polygyny in the West, polygyny is not well received. So because it's not well received, there can be a lot of issues when it comes to polygyny in general. It could be a lot of issues when it comes to incoming wives, where people feel that they're home wreckers, that they are here to take over the family, that they are that they're here to replace the initial wife. I've seen those things and heard those things. And because of those stereotypes, because of those issues that people put out there, which I have not met a subsequent wife. Now, I'm not saying that they're not out there, but I've not met a subsequent wife who stated that, yeah, I'm getting into polygyny because I want to replace the first wife. That was not my intention. That's not something that I wanted to do. My thing is, I came from a big family, not really realizing because it was just normal for me. And I came from a blended family that didn't realize that was just normal for me. So I didn't realize that till my wonderful co-wife, Coach Fatimah, explained that to me. She said, you know what? You came from a blended family. You came from where, your cousins and your uncle used to come over, spend nights, y'all did a lot of stuff together, to the point where people thought that my uncle was my brother. And if they didn't call him my brother, they'll call him my cousin, because we were 6 months apart. And like I said, we had the cousins over. I'm the oldest of 9. Big family, blended. The youngest 5 children are from my mother's marriage. And it's a probably 13, 14-year gap between the youngest of the first batch, I call them, and the oldest of the second batch is what I call them. So yeah, it kind of sounds like gremlins, if anybody's familiar. And I know I'm dating myself by saying that. This is a wonderful family. Of course, the husband is a great leader, provider. He loves his family. He talks about them. This was no secret type of thing, that he was, he had a family, and that, he doted and enjoyed his family. That was not a secret. So seeing that made sense to me as far as when polygyny was concerned, that this is a family. Yes, this is a family that I would actually love to be a part of. So needless to say, in my naivety, and I will talk about that in a different video, of what my vision was and what I saw, I realized it wasn't that way, and it wouldn't get that way and become that way until years later. The vision that I saw for the family. The vision that I saw of entering into a polygynous family who practices Islam and all that other stuff. So they had Coach Nazir and Coach Fatimah. They had 6 children at the time. Their boys were very small, but they had 4 daughters, and that was my main thing when it came to my bonus children. Not that the boys didn't matter, because they really did, but the daughters, I'm like, I have one daughter. I had one daughter. I still have just one biological daughter. My bonus babies, I love them, so now I have more. However, anyway, my daughter, I was like, my daughter's gonna have these sisters, it's gonna be great, and these different things like that. However, the transition wasn't easy. The transition from monogamy to polygyny for Coach Fatimah wasn't easy, and she talks about that in different videos, as well as the transition for me wasn't easy, because the hallucination that I had in my head, the imagination that I had, did not come to fruition at the time that I wanted it to come to fruition. So that can cause an issue of how you communicate with your bonus children, because how do you connect? How do you bring yourself to say, hey, I want to talk to them. I want to build a relationship with them. I want to bond with them. Well, one of the mistakes that I made was not communicating that with our husband. One of the mistakes I made was not communicating that with our husband as soon as I really felt it. Now I did it, and I continued on talking about it. Hey, they could come over here, meaning that they could come over to the house, to my house, to the house that we shared together, to visit. They come and visit. I'll do some things. We'll play some games or something, or maybe you can bring them by and we can talk. And so it was these different things that happened, or that I would say, but I wasn't extremely stern on it. I'm not that type of person. I'm not. The way I communicate, I'm not really forceful when I communicate certain things, especially if I'm not the person that's leading the charge. So I'll put suggestions out, but I don't stand firm or stand strong on saying, hey, do this, do that, you should do this, or we should do that, because as an incoming wife, I felt that was not my decision to make. I can make the suggestion, but I can't force anybody to do anything. So years later, I was able to communicate with them. But my issue with waiting so long is that I waited until my bonus daughters got so much older that, yes, of course, they'll be able to speak on their own, let me know how they feel, and have their own voice when it comes to how they felt about me, how they felt about polygyny, how they felt about anything. But it cut off so much time that I could have built with them, that I could have bonded with them. And that still bothers me to this day. It still bothers me to this day, because even though, it don't bother me to the point where, it's causing an issue with our relationships, but it bothers me because I say it's so much missed time that could have been, fulfilled. That certain things that they're learning about me now, 11 years in, that they could have known before. And that's the thing of bonding, people knowing about you, people knowing who you are, people knowing your demeanor and your mentality and your energy. And it took a while for them to see that. But then it also took me being intentional and stating, you know what, I'm going to have a game night with the girls. I'm going to have a bonding time with the girls. The boys were different because they will come by, and because they were younger. So the boys will come by, and, the relationship was there, but boys are boys. So it's just a little different. I have an older son, which was kind of like a big brother to them. They did things together. it was just a different thing. But the girls, they were older, they were first. So trying to build that relationship after them being a certain age or becoming older, even though they can speak for themselves and they can do these other things, just that time that was wasted. And I say wasted for me, it was wasted because they didn't get to see me. They're seeing me now, and now they're adults. All four of my bonus babies, they're grown now. And they see things about me, they know things about me, but a lot of the internal, the goofiness, the stuff that my kids know, the backgrounds, the stories that I tell, these are things that they were not able to share at the time. So they will be able to know these things. So now to me, I say it was wasted, because now, or going into where we are now, it took more time to get them to see and get them to understand the person that I am, and from whatever they may have thought that I was, or may have heard from other people or anything like that, is something that had to be, undone, but it had to be undone from their own eyes. And it took a while. It took them observing me more. It took me creating more things, more activities, and I'm still doing that. And I want to do that, and I continue to do that. So when it comes to learning from some of the mistakes that I made, one of the things, make it known, and known when you feel it, that you want to communicate, that you want to connect with your bonus babies. I don't say stepchildren, I say bonus babies, I say bonus children, and we say that because it could be some negative connotation with stepchildren. And I found out some time ago that one of my bonus babies had an issue with that term anyway, because it seems as though that it was a divorce involved, and that, their parents were getting a divorce, which is not the case, and which was not the case then. So we don't use that word, but I didn't use it, even before then, just because of just history of negative connotation of the word stepchildren or step parents or anything like that. So one of the things is, communicate that with your spouse, and let him, as the mother, as the incoming wife, or as the wife, whether your initial wife or anything like that, because my co-wife, I came in, I had children, I was a single parent. So my children built a relationship with my co-wife, and she built a relationship with them. But I prepared them for having a relationship with them. So a couple things. Find out, have that conversation with your spouse. Like, hey, how can I build this relationship? Because I want this relationship with them. Cast your vision. Let your spouse know what your vision is, and see what you guys can do in order to create that bond, as a family bond, because you are a family. Also, find a way, if you can, connect with your co-wife, if you can. Whether it's by letter, email, or anything like that, just letting them know that, hey, I want to connect. I want to connect with you. I want to connect with the children. I want us to, build a bond as a family, and be patient. That was one thing that was not a mistake of mine, as being patient. So being patient, being nurturing, being caring, being me, and still letting it be known that I want to build this relationship, that I want to have this bond, and I want to have this relationship with my bonus babies, so they can know who I am, so they know that I'm there for them, and that, they just have that extra support. It's not anybody that's coming in trying to take over anything, that's trying to push anybody aside, but now you have some extra support as well. So being able to do those things, and those are just a few tips. If you're trying to reach out and trying to connect with your bonus children, one of the things, don't let it last too long. If you want to connect, let it be known that you want to connect with them, and figure out a way to connect with them, and don't rush things. It may be some awkwardness there. Allow them to feel their feelings. Don't force it. If they don't want to spend time, allow them to have their way. And I'm not saying have their way, just let them run willy-nilly or anything like that. State your concerns and what you would like to do. And also listen to them. If they're willing to talk, listen and respect that. allow that respect to be there. You respect them as well as they should respect you. So I look forward to seeing you guys again in another video. Until next time, make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. Make sure you check out our blog at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/blog and go to our website to sign up for the 5 keys to an outstanding marriage at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. Until next time, assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Here are 3 ways Outstanding Personal Relationships can help you.
1 is by following us on our social medias. Follow us on IG at Outstanding Relationships and on Facebook and YouTube at Outstanding Personal Relationships. And make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell.
Number 2, make sure you head over to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com and subscribe to the email list. From there, you will get downloads as well as updates, any and all updates. And you also get an update on the release of our new book, Let's Talk Polygyny, Uncensored.
Number 3, if you are serious about polygyny relationships and really developing fulfillment and happiness, make sure you register for our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle, which is members only, which includes downloads. It includes access to us live on a weekly basis. So that's at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/RM. We'll see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.